Hi gang, Woody55 here, Max, Customer Service Manager at iGotvapes.com. Tonight on Gotvapes Texas Tidbits, we're going to take a look at the new Katady Epower 3. Uh, Unit's packed with a lot of features, and it has a few quirks too, but we will get into that. Uh, Thing comes in nice big presentation box with a lot of package protection and all this stuff. In the bottom of it, you've got your multifunction cable that has your, I believe it's 30-pin iPod, micro USB, fits most Samsung devices, most Android, and you've got the live wire that is most of the newer iPhone and iPad power connections. We'll get into the use of that. The manual, we'll discuss that too. And then beauty ring. Alright. This has a 3,400 mile built-in battery. A lot of runtime. It takes a while to charge up too. Initial charge, gonna run 5-6 hours to fully charge it. It'll be red around the power button until it's fully charged, and it'll turn blue. Alright, on the display on this thing, I've got this one set at 9 watts, but you have a lot of information on the screen on this thing. See if I can get a little better look at it here. Alright, shows you power, shows you USB on and off, your atomizer, and your puff count on the far side. This thing, you punch it 3 times, your menu comes up. First selection is power up. You can run your power up just by clicking the button. Let it set for a minute. It goes back to run mode. Click it 3 times again, and one more, and it goes to the power down, adjust down. Excuse me. Really, I wish I could get a better look at menu on that thing. Alright, but you have power down, up, power down. You have working mode, lets you switch between wattage and voltage. You have smoking mode. Smoking mode, you have manual and auto. It's on manual now. When you go to auto, this is where people are getting confused on this thing. You select auto on it, it comes up, you set the number of seconds you want it to run. What this does is when you hit the fire, you just hit the fire button, it starts firing. Till it hits its 9 seconds, then it runs out. Work for some people it doesn't. Most people leave it in manual. After that, you have the puff clear, and then you have USB output. On the USB output, you can set it for a 1 amp output, 1.5 amp, or a 2 amp output. That's through your big USB connector here for powering and charging other devices. It'll charge Android phone, it'll charge iPad, tablet, Samsung tablet, iPods. I hadn't found much it won't charge. The other feature on this thing, your charge port here, you plug your micro USB in there, you plug it into to your computer USB port, you got a 4 gig data stick. Works real nice. It's available all the time. But your power output, you can turn that on and off. Most time you leave it off. You can set standby time, and then you can turn it on and off. Kind of a hassle going through everything to turn it off and everything. Now, I've had people say that it's underpowered. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. One thing about this thing is the pulse width modulation that's used on this takes a bit for it to warm up the coil. Now, this thing really prefers single coils over dual coils, and you get below 1.5 amp or 1.5 ohms, it's going to show short. It does not like going below 1.5 ohms. But 2 ohms above, single coil, this thing it functions great. But you have to warm up the coil and then vape it. This has got a 1.9 ohm single coil in it. This is the T-Duct 1.6S. And that thing, if you push the button, warm it up for a second, great flavor, great vapor. I don't see any problem there. But if you just grab it, punch the button, you're not going to get a very good vape. You've got to warm the coil up. About like if you're using an RBA, like K-Fun, something like that, you want to hit the power to it and warm it up before you start vaping. Same thing you got to do on this. You've got because of the way the pulse width modulation is, this thing, you've got to warm up the coil. And like I said, once you warm it up, generally I run it about a second, a little over, and then start drawing on it. And it has great flavor and everything else. Now, stick the beauty ring on here. I've got Pro Tank 2 with a 2.5 ohm coil on it. And by the way, I'm only running at 9 watts. You know, like I said, same thing. Push the button, warm it up. Lots of vapor, excellent flavor. I find no problem with this unit whatsoever. But like I said, if you just grab it up, hit the button, and start vaping, I mean, you'll get some vapor, but not that strong. You got to warm up the coil. Once you warm up the coil, the thing works great. strip her down here for a minute. I mean, this thing, nice, compact. It's a little lighter than MVP. Got mirror finish, as you can see. Real nice finish on it, front and back. Actually, I like this unit. Performs well. Doesn't matter. I got a T3S here with got a 2.1 ohm coil in it. Warm it up for a second. Good flavor, good vapor. That's just the nature of the beast on it. You gotta warm up the coil. You know, at least a second. Okay, pretty much touched everything there. On that manual auto mode. You go to your smoking mode, set it for auto, and like I said on that, it gives you the option of setting the number of seconds you want it to run. It's not a switch it to auto mode, suck on it, and it's going to vape. That's not that kind of auto. What it does is, in auto mode, you just hit the button, turn loose of it. I have it set for 9 seconds, and it'll run 9 seconds and shut off, which is seems to be a pretty good vape time. Some people might go less. 10 is the max, but like I said, most people tend to leave it in manual mode where it vapes, while they hold the button down for 10 seconds max. That's the normal cutoff on most e-cigs, is 10 seconds. But other than that, like I said, I like this unit. It's handy. It vapes well. I had found out some of this information on the warming up the coil from a British reviewer named Martin Peavy. That was one thing he pointed out on it, was that because of the pulse width modulation used in this, you got to warm up the coil because it's slow to warm it up. It has to build up the power on it. Once you do that, the thing works great. Very handy, compact. Warm it up. And that's something that on just about anything you use, you should do anyway. Push the button for a second, warm it up. What they call a 3-step deal. Click, draw, and release. Click it to warm it up, to fire it, draw, and then release the button after you quit drawing. That way it clears juice left on the coil and all this good stuff. Give me a second here and I'll get into the manual and put the Pro Tank 2 back on it again. And like I said, you just push the button, warm it up about a second. The vape's nice. I have no complaints with this unit whatsoever. Now, Told you we was going to talk about the manual on this thing. Alright. The manual is a quadfold, and it touches on the base operations, and that's about it. It doesn't go into any detail, but fortunately most of the stuff on the menu is pretty self-explanatory. Just bang, 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 go through there. It's just, you've got one button for controlling things, so it's nice and simple. So, you know, click down to the what you're wanting, whether it's voltage, voltage power up, voltage power down. Let it set for a second, change the level, let it set. It sets it. Like I said, you got to go all the way through it to the power off, and a little bit of a hassle, but excuse me, still works. But other than that, that's it in a nutshell. That's the Katady Epower 3. Nice unit. Like I said, I like it. Give her another little toot here. Excellent flavor, excellent vapor. Nice unit. Woody here, as always. Gotvapes, Texas Tidbits. Vape well, vape safe. Have a great day.